Hello. So, do you need a little help today? This can happen. That's just the way life is. And that's why I'm here. Okay, so let's go. Close your eyes and try to relax. Take a deep breath and blow it out. Inhale, exhale. And you can let your body relax. Your mouth can be lightly open, your tongue resting against your palate. Just do nothing and let yourself be carried away. You know that the music is also here to help you, to guide you, as if you could breathe according to the waves that the music makes. Sometimes it's quiet. And sometimes it can speed up, depending on what you're going through. It's kind of like the weather outside. Most people will tell you that when the sky is gray, they're in a bad mood. They're grumpy. In fact, we could say we feel gloomy, just like the gloomy weather outside. And some might even say, it's because the sky is gray that I'm sad. But what if it was the other way around? Imagine. It's harder to be sad when the weather is bright and sunny and everything around you is fine. Perhaps, when it's fine weather, everything around you is fine. And perhaps you're fine too. So, maybe, in a little while, the music will speed up at a time when, for you, there'll be more to experiment. Right now, it happens to be pretty quiet, and you can imagine flying away, following the momentum, the waves, going with the flow. This is something that's deeply intimate in your imagination. If you're usually more active, you could even have the impression of not doing much. Because sometimes we can confuse being motionless with being inactive. It's almost as if people who move a lot do more material things. But you know that this is not always the case, far from it. By being hyperactive, moving a lot, we feel efficient, but sometimes to no avail. And there are people who manage to transform their whole life in a click, invisible. Something completely silent. The people around them won't even notice. And however, for you, this can change everything. There's a saying, real miracles make little noise, and loud noises usually don't work miracles. So, inside yourself, it's as if, as I'm talking, you can start paying attention to the moment where there is silence between two music notes, between two words. And this silence, sometimes between words, sometimes between music notes, can bring you so much, and sometimes even more than anything you hear. But we can't voluntarily control things that are beyond our conscious will. For example, you don't have the life you have on purpose, unless something inside us ultimately reflects on the outside. Maybe like the weather we were talking about earlier. And if that's true, it means that if you don't know what's inside you, you could believe that the life from the outside happens by chance. Whereas, as soon as you're aware of what is inside, you see the world as a reflection of yourself. Sometimes, the reflection is lovely. Sometimes, it's not so pleasant to observe or to live. Obviously, if I want to see myself in the mirror and my reflection looks dirty, my first reaction will perhaps be to wipe the mirror. When really, as you can imagine, it's my own face that should be cleaned. And then, of course, the image will be more pleasant to look at. So, shall we start this journey together on your inner path? So you can improve your life today. Maybe you have an idea of what might actually change for you, or maybe not. It'll be a surprise. It's as if inside yourself you can sense or maybe feel vibrating, or just imagine the things that make you, you as you are today. For some people, there can be things from the past, such as moments that helped make you. For others, it's like their whole life story, the addition of small and big times. For others yet, it's like feeling a basis supporting them, a foundation. And for others yet, it might be like a kind of prison, holding and protecting them, but also preventing them from freeing themselves, from flying away. And you can find your own sensations, your inner feelings. Sense inside yourself what has brought you to where you are today. Could be like a movie, or like plenty of images or imprinted memories going back as far as your childhood, perhaps. Imagine that what brought you to this day. Imagine that it's like a path, the path of life, like the branches of a tree whose trunk has grown slowly and brought you this far. And that there are many other branches. And all of this is your tree of life, a living family tree. And today, your path is as it is, just because of all those other paths that brought you here. A path coming from another path, which came from other paths, ever since the first path. Just imagine one more thing. Imagine that you could turn the page of this great book of life and change the story. Okay, let's start walking on the path. So really, what created you is your parents' path. Maybe you'll want to take mom's path first, or dad's, whichever. Take the one that comes to you. And maybe it'll be a common path. I don't know. Anyway, this path is different from yours. The atmosphere is not quite the same. nor the energy, although there are similarities, of course. And here again, you can have impressions like memories. You've been told things. You've imagined some. And bear in mind that what comes to you could be true or not. Maybe some of those ideas are your own. Some you made up. And some might be very strong ideas too. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Just pay attention to the path. Obviously, this path didn't just happen there by itself. It also has its origin. So, take another path now, the one that continues further. A new path, at the origin of the previous one, as you did earlier. Maybe it'll be like a crow's foot or crossroads, and you know that this is the path of your grandparents. So it might be a masculine path, a grandfather, your father's father, or your mother's father. Maybe it's a feminine path, a grandmother, your mother's mother, or your father's mother. And even if you've never known these people in your life, you know they exist. They must have existed. So whatever the reality or actual events, the roads, the path, different, just take this path. It's a long journey to go back in time so far. So if you're going peacefully, walking, you won't go fast enough. So in your mind, start moving forward at a good pace, taking big steps, maybe even walking faster, and then maybe running. Maybe like in your dreams as a child, with enough speed, you can fly away. Let's run, 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 and fly away. This way, you can follow the path further and faster, flying over it, discovering it from a higher perspective. Take your time. But how long are you going to go on like this? Well, go on until you find a nice place, a quiet little nook where you know, you feel, you tell yourself, this is the place. I feel good. I'm well. It's full of life. I'm going to land there. Actually, you've traveled so far you don't even know where you are or in what time. Except that now, this little piece of paradise is yours. So, take a moment to get into this energy and soak it in. If you want to connect with nature, or to meet again with the spirit of those who were there before you, or reconnect, as though uniting or merging with life, go ahead, enjoy your peaceful paradise. In short, it doesn't matter how you do it. Just do it so it does yourself the most good. Sometimes by breathing in deeply, you can feel even better that you're filling yourself up with all that good energy. Pure and invigorating, feeling it fill you up and clean you, as if lifting the weight off your shoulders, bringing life back into you. Just breathe. Quietly. And maybe also grounding yourself, merging with that time deeply. And I'm sure you already know what I'm going to suggest. Let me tell you a story. One day, it was March or maybe April, and I met a special person, really tiny and extraordinary. It's the spring fairy. Of course, most people don't think she exists. But then, how do you think spring would come back every year if it wasn't for her? So, it was the first day of spring. She was traveling on a big cart with her fairy friends, and they had some kind of magic wand. At first, I thought it was some kind of brush. It looked like she was soaking her brush in a big spring bowl. It looked fresh and lively and bright. And then, as she strolled through the wild with her cart, she touched the branches of the trees surrounding her, and they immediately began to blossom. Everywhere she went, the grayness faded, and everything became alive, colorful, and vibrant again. Life resumed its course after a rest cycle. Well, today, it's your chance to play the spring fairy in your own personal way. Imagine that you are the brush. Watch every step you take illuminate everything around you. And as you come down the path till today, everything will light up. It's magical. So go ahead, start coming back. Everything that crosses your path starts shining bright. Whether it be the path itself, the surroundings, anyone crossing your path, the events that happen there, even the paths leading right and left light up. And there's no need to do anything else other than breathing deeply, quietly, filling yourself with life and letting it circulate inside you and all around you. And coming back quietly on your path, flying or running maybe, and then walking fast, and then slowing down, walking more quietly, until today and now. Everything you approach lights up, and all that has regained its brightness illuminates what surrounds it, passing it on. It's like a big bonfire, a sunrise. And when you've traveled all the way to today, to here and now. Then you can turn around and see how your whole path, your tree of life, has transformed. Life is back. You can almost feel it if you pay attention every time you breathe. And even without paying attention, it's still there. The past is embellished, hugging you today and flying into the future, preparing and softening every one of your next steps. What effect will that have on tomorrow and the day after tomorrow? The minutes, the months, and years to come? Well, that's a surprise. I can't tell you. It's a present. And since you like surprises, so reorient yourself here and now. Just move your toes. Take another deep breath. Move the tip of your nose and your ears. Well, that's going to make your eyelids become light. And they're going to reopen on their own. There. Thank you.